Students, I am Dr. Abhinav Kamal Raina, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, ABST, Government College, Nasirabad. Today, I am going to introduce you the topic classification for BCom Part 1st, Elements of Statistics. In this lesson, we'll discuss about what classification is all about. We'll also discuss the keywords in classification definition. Then second part of our discussion will be characteristics of classification. Third, the important terminologies that we use in classification, and finally there will be some questions which I will forward to you and for your homework. Now, starting with the term classification, it is the process of dividing the collected data into various classes or groups on the basis of their similarities. It also means that classification is the process of arranging things and gives expression to the unity of attributes. Now, students, if we see this definition, we can find out three important keywords. Number one, in classification, collected data is important. Number second, what will be the various classes? And number third, the similarities. Thus, we can conclude the concept of classification as the process of dividing the collected data into various classes. Now, dear students, very important to understand for all of us is to go through what can be the main objectives of classification. The following can be the main objectives of classification, and I will discuss one by one. Number one, easy and concise. Classification helps us to present the data in an easy and concise way. Under classification, data collected, if found in concise way, helps us for tabulation, and at the end of the process helps us for better analysis and interpretation. So, classification is the basic tool if we go through the process of statistical methods. Second will be the homogeneity. Classification helps the data and make data similar in one group to make the data in a homogenetic way. Classification is the process of data and converting the data into homogeneous process. Third, very important is it helps in comparison. Classification makes the facts easy to compare by grouping them on the basis of similarities. I will repeat it. Classification makes the facts easy to compare by grouping them on the basis of similarities. So, in this also, similarities word is used, which we have used at the beginning of this lecture as a keyword. For example, literacy in two cities can be comparable only if the related facts are classified. Number 4, very important, dear students, that is mutually related. Classified facts expose the cause-effect relationship. For example, dear students, is there any relationship between the number of persons vaccinated and the number not vaccinated? So, this data classification helps the data in making the comparison. Comparing data, persons with vaccination, and comparing data with the persons not vaccinated. Number 5, it is the scientific arrangement. This is also very important characteristics. In classification, the facts are arranged in a proper and systematic way on some logical basis. Thus, the data becomes more simple and easy to understandable. We'll quote an example here for better understanding. For example, instead of writing the number of students without any logical arrangement, we, under the characteristics of classification, gets them arranged in a scientific way. That means it makes the data more logical. It makes the data more scientific. When the data is logical and scientific, then it is easy for analysis and interpretation. Because at the end of the process of statistical methodologies, it is very important to find out the net result so that decision making can be more prompt, more fruitful, and more objective based. Number 6, a basis for tabulation. Now, data can be presented properly if we go for the process of classification. The same data has to be transferred into tabulation. It is the base for tabulation. Tabulation makes data more understandable. Better classification and better tabulation helps to see for the objectives of the data collection and further analysis and interpretation for decision making process in business, in societies, in government, in companies, in corporations, in banking, in planning, and various other means and approaches of business processes. To conclude, dear students, classification has an important place in statistics. If we have to understand the statistics as a subject, we must be sure that we have gone through the basics of statistics vis-a-vis the classification of statistics in its totality, because analysis and interpretation are not possible from the unarranged and unorganized and incomplete data. Therefore, to make the data more arranged, to make the data more organized, to make the data more comparable, to make the data more analytical, classification is the basic tool. Now, dear students, I would like to go for the terminology that is used in quantitative classification. One is class limit. What do we understand by class limits? When two values which determine a class are known as class limits, and each class has two limits. First or smaller one is known as lower limit, and the greater one is known as upper limit. So what are the symbols? Symbols can be L1 for the lower limit and L2 for the upper limit. For example, if the group is 0 to 30, so what will be the 0? 0 will be L1, and what will be the 30? 30 will be the L2. Second is magnitude or class interval. It is the difference between the two limits of a class and is known as class interval. That is on subtracting the lower limit from the upper limit. It is denoted by I. I is equal to L2 minus L1. L2 upper limit minus L1 lower limit. Now we'll come to the point, what is the mid value? Mid value is the difference between L2 and L1. The formula for is lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2, or mid value is equal to L1 plus L2 divided by 2. Mid value for the class will be, if the class is 10 to 20, mid value for the class will be 10 plus 20 divided by 2, and that is 15. So, fourth important is the class frequency. The number of items fall within the limits of certain class is known as frequency. Frequency is the occurrence. For example, if a particular person has the percentage of 60 and similar persons have the percentage of 60 as well, and their representation is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So 60% has the frequency of 6. So frequency is basically the occurrence of the number. Lastly is the frequency distribution. What frequency distribution is all about? It is an orderly or systematic arrangement of the values or classes, and their fragrances is known as frequency distribution. So, dear students, today we got an idea about what is classification, number one, what are the characteristics of classification, number two, and what are the major terminologies used in classification. Now, the questions that you have to do at your home and you have to send to me, I will repeat it, send it to me on my WhatsApp number 935-132-9052, and I will evaluate it and the feedback will be sent back to you individually. Question number one, write a short notes on magnitude or class interval. Number two, what is class frequency? Number three, what are the main characteristics of classification? Question 4, what do you understand by the term classification and how classification is useful in statistics? Thank you very much.